over the years, Transtar has been viewed, and we've had folks from internationally come over to see Transtar, the model. And I think that people across the country and across the world see this as a model that others can follow. And we as a community need to take great pride in that, and we need to celebrate that. And so I'm glad the 30-year anniversary gives us an opportunity to really tell the story of Transtar and the benefit that the people here and the partnership here bring to this region.
Well, I was here when Transtar first opened. It was actually the ribbon cutting when the building opened in 96, 97, I think. And I'm sure you've heard from a lot of people that 4 government agencies working together and how great it is, and it is a wonderful thing. It didn't happen easy. Well, how do we build fellowship across agency lines between TxDOT, Metro, and the county and the city? And there was a lot of coordination in those first years, and it was quite a challenge, but very rewarding now looking back at everything that's been accomplished. You know, there's an old story, you hear a lot in the emergency management training that you don't want to be exchanging business cards at the scene of an emergency. And that certainly applies here at Transtar, because you work with each other every day. You know each other on a personal level. So when there's an emergency, you go, who's that guy at the city I need to talk to? Or there's some guy at TxDOT I met at a meeting. No, we're in the building and we knew each other. And you knew personalities and you knew who could get things done. And there's just no replacing that day-to-day experience. You can't do it through training, you can't do it through monthly meetings. And that's why I think Houston Transtar is better served to support the community than any other facility like this in the country.
You know, I started in 2006, and it was not too long after the evacuation effort for Hurricane Rita. And it was in the development of the after action report and then all the changes that needed to go into place to make an evacuation run smoothly for the next event, because we know there will always be a next event. And so hundreds of agencies came here for routine, regular meetings, and they were all the way from the very top to the deputies at on scene, doing the evacuation, managing the traffic. And so we looked at everything from the roadways, which were good evacuation routes, which should not be good evacuation routes, how to widen the routes, how to make sure there was gas, water, electricity along the routes, making sure people could get out more safely. But almost the most important thing of all that was the messaging, because something like 3 million people tried to evacuate during Hurricane Rita, and really probably less than half of that needed to. So getting the message out meant that in 2008, when Hurricane Ike was looming and evacuations were ordered and planned, it was about the same traffic as 4 o'clock on Friday. You know, it was heavy traffic moving along the evacuation routes, but nothing people couldn't survive.
So a lot's changed in 30 years with technology. We've gone from basically no internet to everybody has the internet, and now everybody has a cell phone. And Transtar has really embraced the technologies where they've made sense. One example I really like to think about is how we collect travel time data and speeds, which we use extensively. Transtar innovated a lot of those technologies, starting off with toll tag readers on the side of the road to Bluetooth and Wi-Fi MAC address readers, and now accessing data from the cloud because it's available. Being able to do that, we've been able to expand our reach and have more robust speed and travel time coverage through the region, helping people understand how traffic's flowing, if there's incidents, and how they can get safely from point A to point B.
So when the map was developed for Transtar, it wasn't just developed for Houston or Harris County. We got it almost for the same price for the whole state of Texas, because Texas is so big, but at the time we had nothing that we could buy off the shelf. It really benefited that this center was in Space City, because some of the contractors, when it slowed down at NASA, came and did, I'll say, on the ground work on Earth rather than in space. The map, you know, basically had so many layers, things that we don't even use, but you can see it has been used as they developed the map routing software in your vehicle or on your cell phone.
Houston, our roadways become our floodways. They are designed to move water. They are designed to flood. We live in a prime hurricane landing zone. It takes about 72 hours to evacuate people from the coast to get through here, and that's assuming we have plenty of time, right? And so that's even more challenging today with the population growth. So what better place for an evacuation to have emergency management and transportation under one roof? We can do it all virtually, but in those situations, things move at the speed of trust. And when you work with your partner from the other agency just down the hall and you know them by first name and you work with them on days like this when nothing is happening, in a time of crisis, that makes all the difference.
If you got to take a step back to before TranStar, in 1994 there was a massive flood in Harris County. The San Jacinto River was on fire. The reports on the news were that the I-10 bridge was opened by the sheriff's office and closed by TxDOT or vice versa. Nobody knew what was going on. It was chaos in the city. As I came into office, what I found was that the county judge viewed the disasters as bad news. So they delegated all of the response authority to the sheriff. So the sheriff would be dealing with bad news. But we pulled it back in my office and moved emergency management into a planning, mitigation, response, and recovery model. And from that, we grew the TranStar organization and operation. So we no longer had those kinds of confusion between the city, the county, the state, and the other local agencies not being coordinated in their response to disasters. If you were at TranStar and you didn't know it was an emergency management operation, you might think it's NASA. You've got professionals lined up, responding to the disasters, working together in a coordinated effort to respond to the disaster. And things go wrong all the time during disasters, and unfortunately, when we're here, there's a team together that works and is trained together to respond to those disasters and do it right.
Having the four main partners here at TranStar is one thing. I mean, it allows coordination, but it also allows a sharing of information. And a lot of that information is who knows what's the best resource that we can call on. And that's where, whether you're talking about Houston Galveston Area Council or Baker Ripley or Harris County Medical Society or the Red Cross, you know, you get them all involved. And frankly, there's a lot of inside information that's housed here. The city of Houston may know something about an organization that the county doesn't, or vice versa. And so that coordination does extend outside these walls.